So big news hit the internet recently surrounding Torchlight 3. And even though we're a little bit late to the party on releasing this video, I kind of wanted to talk about why I am excited for Torchlight 3. Hello guys, my name is Mixoplex and today we're going to be talking about Torchlight 3. For those that aren't aware, I always talk about a lot of different games during our live streams, and Torchlight was one of those games that was honestly pretty good. Unfortunately, I did not play the first one. The second one though, I absolutely fell in love with. The art style was unique, the music was good, kind of reminded me of like a modern day Diablo, and it just had its own uniqueness to it that honestly made it very good. So after I think a year and a half of waiting after playing it and enjoying the mods, I always wondered what was going to happen with Torchlight, and eventually Torchlight Frontiers popped up and we were actually accepted into the alpha for that, tested it out, etc. It finally lifted the NDA. We did like 1 or 2 streams on it. Honestly, the viewership at the time wasn't really well receptive to it, but either way it was still a fun game to play. Unfortunately, I kind of moved on to different things at the time and couldn't really provide alpha feedback like I typically do when I play video games in such an early state, and I kind of just sat on the sidelines checking out a few patches months down the line, and I felt like if you were keeping up with Torchlight Frontiers, they were basically going a free to play model but really just heavy micro. And it really was just like, I mean, if this is the future of Torchlight, I don't know if I'm going to like it. So honestly, I stopped playing it and just kind of put it aside. And I was like, it sucks. It was one of my favorite franchises. I didn't like where they were going with it. And eventually I hope they would either scrap it all together and maybe redo it, or hey, maybe they'll decide to iron out some of the micro. So kind of manage the micro. Well, lo and behold, Torchlight 3 was announced on January 27th, and it's big. It's really big. So basically, from what I am understanding here, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, from what I can understand here is they basically instead of using Arc as kind of a publishing format or platform, they basically got creative control of their game now. So from what it seems like, and again I might be wrong here, Arc was spearheading the free-to-play ARPG heavy microtransactions, which in this particular genre is already covered by Path of Exile. Let's be honest, they do it, and they do it very well, and they stay with pure cosmetics. And they started delving into gameplay advantages and stuff like that with Torchlight. From what I hear, it was just kind of a mess. And as you see here, the developer goes on to say basically, due to feedback and their own internal discussions and stuff like that, that they decided to, take these. Well, they didn't actually, say this bit, but what it seems like they took, showed them, hey, this is what people are saying, this is what people are doing, and I'm almost willing to bet that people just weren't playing Torchlight Frontier at all. Even though a lot of people have respect for the Torchlight franchise and the creators or the people who have made it, it just didn't really go anywhere. And lo and behold, this was announced. Now, Torchlight 3 is going to be following the classic ARPG kind of formula, from what I'm reading from their press release. Pretty awesome. Now, for what that's going to entail, is going to be a classic act structure, just like previous titles. So, a storyline, a quest line, going from point A to B for each act, big final boss at the end, loot, etc., stuff that we've seen in other games. Now, the horizontal progress has been removed, so all Frontier specific levels, gears and stats and skilling has been removed as well. This part of it, when I was playing, wasn't in the game, so I have no idea what that is. We were working on progression systems to better work in tandem with this. Hopefully this is good. Most zones are now private by default to get a better play experience. Now, again, if you weren't aware, it was almost like Albion Online, the way it worked out. And there's some public zones that weren't pure instance boss fights. People could go in and just, it created lag, it created just desync, it just was a mess. And I'm very glad that they decided to go with the private route with this, because this was kind of an issue going forward. So when creating your character, you can now select online or offline mode. A huge thing. Some people almost would love for certain ARPGs to just be online or offline. Like we had the same discussion during Diablo 3 when it first came out. I don't think it ever was an issue with Path of Exile, but I'm sure, there were some people that were proposing that. All in all, this is great because if this is just like any other Torchlight title, they're going to open modding, which is going to be pretty big in the community. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But again, you're either going to play online or offline going forward. And they removed the in-game real money store. So micros are gone. I'm okay with this. Again, I know how companies work. It's we're in the age of microtransactions, right? I'm okay with it. I've spent, I hate to say it, hundreds, or not hundreds, but about $100 or so bucks just on Fallout 76. I'm ashamed to even say that. And I've, every patch with Sea of Thieves, I typically throw them, $20, even though I'm probably gonna stop doing that soon. Because money's tight, But micro, when it's released at the right time, it makes sense. Do it. But always make sure you keep a fine balance between what people can obtain in terms of cosmetics and other services. Make sure there's a fine 50-50. An issue I've been having with Sea of Thieves recently is they've been, they're doing all these things with cosmetics which are just eye-popping. They look good. They're very unique, but you're only gonna you're paying for that basically, and it ain't cheap. So again, not to go on a rant here, but hopefully they can fix that going forward, and hopefully Perfect World doesn't go down that rabbit hole. So while this is a huge sea change for Torchlight 3, most of what current players know about the game is still true. They're gonna continue developing the game with constant feedback from our community through closed alpha and soon beta testing. I'm proud to announce that we are an alpha tester. I am under NDA, so I can't actually release anything else other than say yes, we are doing it. But I respect NDAs. I test out a lot of games, and I've been very good about trying not to, accidentally leak something. So, in the respect of Torchlight, we won't be talking about anything other than what we're able to say, basically, or what they discuss or show during their official live streams on their Twitch page. All right, so we will continue releasing updates over a course of testing. Update 10 is coming Wednesday, which includes complete refactor into linear acts, a third frontier area, a fourth playable class, and a whole bunch of other new features and content. So if you weren't aware, Torchlight Frontier already had player housing. It had, at the time I played it, I think it had 2 or 3 classes. I can't remember. I think it was 2. And I think, apparently they have a third one already. I think it was the Railmaster. And then they're now 4th debuted one, which is, unnamed at the moment. We plan to release the game on PC in 2020, with the console release following shortly after. Again, if you're not familiar with Torchlight, Torchlight is on, I think, every platform. I recently saw it at Walmart on the Switch for like $20. So if you've never played Torchlight 2 and you like ARPG, boss killing kind of games, and you just like to grind it gold and items and stuff, give it a try. Honestly, it's fairly cheap. It's usually on discount somewhere. And again, it's just a cheap game that you could get 50 to 100 hours in. I think that's a pretty good trade-off. We will continue to support the game with ongoing content, updates post-launch. Hopefully they make this almost like a live service game where they continue to update it and such. Also, I forgot to mention that they are on Steam now. Since again, they aren't on our launcher platform anymore, which is so freaking good because that thing was terrible. They are officially on Steam and going through Steam from this point on, which is awesome. Very, very good. The classes, game content, and features and collectibles have been shown in closed alpha will all stay in the game. So basically, what we've seen is going to be in the game in some shape or form. It might be like kind of repackaged into fit the new linear act. But all in all, man, this has me very excited. And Torchlight was one of those games I was so sad that they didn't really go anywhere with it. Frontiers, since we are able to talk about that, was just like, I don't know. I didn't like it because it felt very half-baked, and then with everything being public, it felt weird. Like I don't like that. Like when I play an ARPG, I want to be playing by myself or with the people that I'm playing with. I don't want to run into Joe Schmo that's just spamming abilities, and just being kind of a not a nice guy. But all in all, guys, that's going to be it for the Torchlight 3 news. Again, we're a little bit late to the party here, but I wanted to talk about this. And honestly, I also want to kind of talk about that we're going to be doing these kind of videos because As much as I like to do gameplay and stuff like that, I also love to talk about games and things I'm very passionate about, and the franchises or IPs that I honestly have a huge love for. So we might be doing a few more videos for other games that I'm either currently playing or have issues with, stuff like that. And it's really just a kind of a way of having a good discussion and kind of having like an open format, I guess. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, consider giving us a like, consider subscribing for more discussion and content related videos, including live streams as well that we also do over here on YouTube. 5 days a week minus Mondays and Thursdays, with a little bit of change, but we will be having a schedule very soon here, like an official schedule. I just need to get it ironed out, and we'll be doing that per weekly, so you know what we're going to be playing on which day, and it just makes things a little bit easier. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.